Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd. Today we're talking about Doctor Who, and this episode, like just about all of them this season, has so many things going on at the same time. You'd think that they need a good 90 minutes instead of 45 minutes in order to get the story done. But in this, we have essentially the futuristic version of the Eurovision Song Contest with the same host, cryogenically frozen so he can come out every year and continue to host the event. We have a museum part of this huge arena, which is a great special effect, in which among the things that are in the museum is a hologram of Graham Norton, for no reason other than we like to see Graham Norton. There is a big change in how the Doctor is acting when he gets very riled. We've seen before that he can be very judgmental when he wants to be, and in this case, it took it to a point beyond what we've ever seen before. At the same time, we also find out of the mystery of Mrs. Flood and a cameo from his granddaughter Susan, which we have not seen in the television episodes since the second season under the first Doctor, when he basically leaves her with her boyfriend on Earth with one shoe missing. Now, to keep you up on it, if you're not familiar with Susan Foreman was the Doctor's granddaughter who traveled with him originally in the TARDIS, and she claims to have made up the name. At least in those stories. I think it's been retconned since then. They called her Susan Foreman because the TARDIS was hidden in the Foreman scrapyards in London, so she could go to school. She needed a last name. Other than that, we don't know a lot about Susan's parentage or anything of before the series began. There didn't seem to be much of a backstory on her. However, she would be, by our current standards, a Time Lord, Time Lady. And the pictures that we see of her in the cameos show her inside the current TARDIS and also of her current age. So these are not flashbacks that the Doctor has while he's been ejected into space, but a current Susan, who oddly hasn't regenerated in 60 more years. So that's what we have there. I suspect that we may be seeing more of her, that she may be playing more of a part in the finale. It'll be a two-part finale next week and the week after. So all of this is interesting, and it does mean that we have to scratch her off the list of who Mrs. Flood is. And many people's first thought of who Mrs. Flood is was correct, is that she is the Rani. And they do another bi-generation. That seems to be what they're going to do now instead of regeneration. And so the Rani now has a Rani as her assistant. I would like to see something said like, finally have a decent assistant. Although I don't know if the Rani ever went with assistants, so hard to know. We've only seen her in two episodes. One was in the Colin Baker era called The Mark of the Rani, in which her TARDIS looked like a wardrobe, and then Time in the Rani, which Sylvester McCoy's first adventure, in which her TARDIS looks kind of like a pyramid. And they show an inside of her TARDIS, which looks so much different than the Doctor's. It had the twin hula hoops that on one thing, whenever they look like they're rolling on each other. It's kind of an interesting time rotor idea that they had there. And otherwise black, where the Doctor's was white inside. They didn't show her with the TARDIS this time, but she knew that from the last vector reading that the Doctor took, that she knew exactly what she needed to know and was just going to stay long enough to watch the show. She's the last person rescued, so we don't know exactly what she's up to just yet. although it probably does lead to the destruction of the earth. So we still have that mystery as to what destroys the earth. We still have to know what it is with Susan, if she's going to continue beyond just this conscience that pops up in the doctor's mind before he beats this guy to death, who is using terrorism, basically, in order to try to put his point across that his planet was savaged and virtually destroyed by a corporation that just wanted flavoring for their honey. And we see another morality play on racism and ethnic cleansing and things such as this. And so that's it's all been handled very well during this season. It's not banging you over the head, but it is getting the point across. So there's that. And seeing the Doctor mad is a different kind of thing. Now, we've seen David Tennant in his times when he has been furious and at one time sent people off into a terrible future. But we've never seen him actually torture anybody before, and that's what he was doing here with a hollow glove and continuing to smack this guy until not only his flash to Susan, and then, of course, Belinda comes in to stop him. And he indicates that while he is stopped now, the ice that this guy put in his heart is going to stay there. So we see a different angle, certainly, to this Doctor, who's been kind of a breezy fellow, and to show that he does have a dark side to him, and you better stay away from that dark side. So, last scene, where they attempt to, now that they have all of the vectors they need, to point the TARDIS in the right direction. The TARDIS still balks at it, and the doors are blown in. Now, we know that it's not the end of the Doctor and of Belinda either, but there's obviously something big coming for this two-part finale that starts next week. So we can only speculate on that for now. But for this, there was a lot to be said about how this show was written. It wasn't the Doctor solving all of the problems. In fact, he was creating a couple of them. But there were technical people that were in charge of the broadcast, and they were able to help the Doctor override the computers and change the cryogenic chamber into a way of bringing back people who were thrown out into space in the first act. So this is all a pretty good idea of using some of the other characters, not just the Doctor and the companion, in order to solve all of the problems, but they were able to solve some of their own, and that was a pretty good deal. So it was enjoyable. There were points of humor in there that I enjoyed. They had their special effects were good. Their sets were great. In fact, the computer the Doctor was working on is actually a video editing console. I thought that was kind of funny. It would look alien to anybody else, I suppose. At any rate, that is that episode, and we look for the two-part finale, but it's coming too soon. This has been a great season, and I hate to see it go this time. So I'd like to know what you think. Please put it in the comments below, and of course, subscribe if you have not done so already. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, don't go far.